Bonjour, my freaky darlings. It's Benji here. I hope you're all doing well. As you join me in my spare room with all my books here, plus the one that we're going to be talking about, showing cleavage, and obviously in glasses because it's hay fever season, so I'm giving myself a little bit of a break from contact lenses. In a very crinkly shirt, which I do not apologise for. I also have my notes straight here, which is why you can see a glare in my glasses. So professional. So, we're going to be talking today, as you can probably gather by the title of the video, chapter 4 of Beautiful Night, Weighing a Breakup. So the basic question of this one is: have you ever faced a turning point in your life that changed everything, basically? Because that's what this chapter is about. So obviously, I'm going to keep this completely spoiler free. And yeah, we'll see what we dive into, what subjects we dive into. So the atmosphere of this chapter 4, it starts out quite slower pace because we've had so much action going on. So there is a time where you have to kind of like breathe. So Derek is back in a place that he's very familiar with, our main protagonist. We also meet a new character called Eddie. Obviously, this is information you can just see there that I'm actually wearing joggers. Smart at the top and rubbish at the bottom. Thank you very much, COVID lessons. Um, but yeah, no, we meet a new character called Eddie. I'm not giving any spoilers away, just obviously just telling you some basics here. But the ending of this chapter, where a huge event happens, is a huge turning point for everybody, especially the character of Skylar. Um, so yeah, it's a honestly, it's a very emotional roller coaster. You have like a sense of calmness and home and questioning from Derek after what the events have been leading up to, and then absolute devastation at the end of it. Um, so the character that I want to focus on, as I just literally scroll down, I've got my notes up on here, like I said, um, is Eddie. There's a new character called Eddie. Eddie is a lovely, lovely, lovely human being. And Derek meets him for the first time. He is such a nice person, it's unreal. A proper, lovely, caring person. And Skylar loves him dearly. So it's good for Derek to meet, a nice person, a friendly person, because, like I said, this chapter kind of starts a lot more relaxed because Derek needs that sort of breather. So that's what Eddie really provides. But Eddie is thrust into these horrible situations along with Derek as well and the other cast members. So, it's interesting to see how Eddie kind of reacts to all this as well. So, the central dilemma at the end of this chapter is a huge feeling of loss, a great big just loss of everything that you found stable in life, all your foundations, that is just completely obliterated. Um, and it's how you kind of respond in that certain situation. Do you panic? Do you crumble? Do you break? Do you go into autopilot mode and just continue on until you are safe? Which is very, very good question for every single character that's in here. Obviously, we've got Derek, we've got Skylar, we've got Caroline, and we've got Eddie now. So yeah, it's building up a good repertoire of characters at this point. Um, when I wrote it, this chapter, uh, I wanted something big to happen at the end. I like action happening at you know every single stage of the story. This was a huge, 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 so huge, in fact, at the end of this chapter, that it's actually the beginning scene of another book that I wrote. Um, so, yeah, everything's linked. We're all connected in the great circle of life. So, yeah, honestly, this is a huge, huge event at the end of this chapter. Um, and honestly, the way I was writing you're really writing something that you're happy with when you can't stop writing, when it just blurs out of you. and then obviously you edit it at the end, going, oh, spelling, grammar. But when it just comes out of you very, very fast, you know something good is coming out there. So with Derek, I want to focus on Derek now, because obviously he is the protagonist. He is again faced with, well, all the characters are faced with this massive obliteration of their safety. Um, and there is still the question of why are all these bad things, these life-threatening things happening? I'm not going to say what they are because, like I said, no spoilers. But why are all these things happening? Because they still don't know. They still don't know why it's happening, or who's causing it, or why they're causing it, what their motives might be, etc. So it's this huge, great, big uncertainty. Um, so yeah, honestly, it's his courage. Derek has a lot of courage that he does show in this. Well, he shows throughout the whole book, and you really don't think that Derek is one to show courage because he is quite a timid person, bless his heart. Um, so when you read this chapter, it's like I said, it gives you a breather at the beginning because I think that was really, really needed because um, up so far in this book, other than a certain few, dialogue moments, it's bam, 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 and you're just like, whew. So you need that time at the beginning of this chapter to kind of like process everything that's happened and actually see Derek in his, sort of homely, calm state because we haven't actually experienced that recently. It's just like Derek was thrust right into the action at the beginning, and he's a part of this Skylar's company, etc., etc. So yeah, it starts off like, oh gosh, I can catch up. Then it's bam again, which I just love. It's the lovely way that I feel comfortable with writing with, to be quite honest. So this chapter is extremely pivotal blah, 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 to the overall narrative arc because um, Skylar, who is obviously Derek's boss and who has the company that everybody works for. It's not a spoiler. It's just basic fact. Something happens at the end of it. Like I keep saying that. Obviously, you have to read to find out. That shakes that foundation, that safety net. It's actually quite interesting because this is the fourth chapter now, and something happens at the beginning. They go, oh, must be just a horrible freak incident. Something happens in the second chapter. You're like, this is too coincidental. Third chapter, someone's out to get us. Fourth chapter, breakage. Literally every single character is kind of shook to their core here. So that's why this makes it a really interesting chapter. It's actually one of my favorites because you really, really do get the core of the character when they are when they lose a lot. When there is a significant loss, you really, really do get the summary of a character through their actions, through their dialogue, through their emotions and everything. And that's like that applies to all four that we've accumulated so far. So Derek, Skylar, Carolina, and Eddie. And Eddie is, I mean, we only meet him in this chapter, and he's already like blasted into this. So it's another thing to lead on after this chapter. Like, how is everybody going to continue to react after this? Because it's such a huge event at the end. So obviously, feel free to read. I've kept this spoiler free because I encourage to read. It's great. So yeah, that's pretty much it, my lovelies. I will obviously put the link to where you can get this book down below. You can get it on physical copy on Amazon, also digital copy on Kindle, Kobo, and iBooks as well. Take care, my lovelies. I love you very much. Take care. Bye bye.